Since 1951, Goddards has been located in Greenwich, a borough on the banks of the River Thames. Greenwich is well known for the Cutty Sark, a restored 19th century ship, the old Royal Navy College, or more notably, the historic Meridian Line. But to me, it is home. Home to Goddards at Greenwich.
Well, it is, in my mind, the most authentic thing you can have, one of the most authentic things you can have in London, particularly the east side of London where it kind of grew up. It was very much a working class food. When the docks existed in London, that's what the dock workers used to have when they finished their day's work, and they wanted something that filled them up, and pies are obviously quite filling, and they've it's a fair amount of stodge to them, but it filled you up. When my granddad had the business and his father had the business, that's what they survived a lot on, was the workers. And the shop, back then, like 100 years ago, would be open really late, like till past midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, because of the shift work that the dock workers had.
The history and the origins and the kind of what makes pie and mash London goes back really to the late 1800s. And that's really kind of where it started in the markets. And then it went on from the markets into the shops and developed on from there. But essentially, London is pretty much born and bred on pie and mash. It's not fish and chips, it's not burgers, it's not kebabs, it's not pizzas, it's none of that food that we associate to other cultures in other countries. London is very much built on pie, mash and liquor.
Well, I currently run the shop with my brother Kane, and prior to that, my parents run the business. The business was established in 1890 by my great-great-grandfather. The shop we're currently in now, we've only been in 12 years, but we have actually been in the town centre of Greenwich since 1951, so a hell of a long time.
If it was run by strangers and I didn't even know them, I wouldn't interact with that staff. I would just do my job and say bye and that's it. But because it's a family-run business, that makes it a lot better for the business itself and to get customers in, because the customers know this, know them for 135 years now we've been going, and the customers just enjoy them, enjoy the family. They're polite, always helpful into saying yes, and we'll change the dinner for you if there's a mistake on their behalf or a mistake on their behalf. They'll always try to adapt around the customers.
There is a proportion, certainly through the winter time, there is definitely a proportion of people that come in that I would classify as regular customers. You know, once a week they come in to get their staple diet.
When I was a little child, my parents always went to Deptford High Street for shopping Saturdays, and I was a little kid toddling along. But I can remember as it was yesterday, pie and mash, and I used to think, oh, lovely pie and mash. My dad said, don't get excited, you'll be there, you get there. Well, every week I used to look forward to going in there. Pie and mash, I'm going to have pie and mash, you know. I was only a little kid. I'm much bigger now, but I was only a little kid. I loved it. I loved it ever since.
I've grown up with Jeff since I was 3. My dad used to take me to the pie and mash shop round the corner, and Jeff's dad used to petrify the life out of me because he was so loud. He was so loud, honestly. He's like Kane. But where I was only little, I used to be like, oh my God, I don't want to go in there. But as I got to know them, as I got older, I got to know them. And they was always like family. My mum and dad got on really well with Jeff's mum and dad. And I didn't even know that this was back here, to be honest, until my dad drove past. And he said to me, oh, there's a job. There's a job going in Goddards. Get round there quick. Them boys will look after you. It's exactly what he said to me. When you've been here a long time, you start to build a relationship slightly with your customers. I've got quite a few people that come in here and I'm like their agony aunt, to be honest. They come in and tell me all their problems and, you know, things that have gone on in their life, or if there's something they need to talk about.
But we were here one day and there was rather a beast man came in and he ordered triple mash and triple pie. And I couldn't believe it was like that. And I thought, and he ate the lot, then ordered one of those big pies, puddings.
And, you know, there's a lot of care and a lot of love that goes into this place. A lot of people don't actually realise how much hard work and how much love goes into this shop. And I think the more and more people come here, the more they get the feel of that, which makes them want to come back. And word of mouth is everything.
And we get people from as far as Australia and New Zealand coming to the shop and saying that when they've landed, this is going to be the first place they come to, because they've been told by their friends, if you're in London, come and visit us, because it's the most authentic thing you can have, which I'm proud of. I'm very proud of. It's what's important, and the general public is what makes it, definitely.
Was it always your intention to work in the pie shop? Did you always see yourself, you know, making pies for a living?
I think so, yes. The thing is when I was younger and I helped out at the weekends, my dad always said to me, oh yeah, this would be good for you, son, working in the shop. But I think my dad pecking away at me as well kind of influenced my thought pattern as to what I wanted to do. But by the time I'd got to the stage where I was leaving school, I went to catering college, so obviously enjoyed cooking. And then after that, although I worked in a few restaurants and a few hotels, I did always enjoy what this was, you know, like working with the family.
Do you think your brother shares the same sort of sentiment?
Absolutely not.
It wasn't my intention to stay in the business, to be fair. Right at the beginning, when I finished college, I did sort of go on to train to be a carpenter. So I'm a qualified carpenter as well. Did a few years, but sadly, when my dad passed, it was time for me to kind of step up and help my brother and help my mum, really.
We had a decision to make as a family, so he kind of had to be dragged out of doing the carpentry back into the family business.
So from that point of view, it's, you know, I never looked back really. I had to get involved and help. So the next 30 years, gone like that, you know.
Did you feel like when you took over from your dad, you were kind of continuing the legacy, like the family legacy in that sense?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be a liar to say I wasn't. I mean, all the time we run this place, there are moments when I think about my dad, and I think about my granddad, and I think about the time that they spent here and how it served them and the good and the bad of it all, you know. But yeah, I mean, it is a legacy. There's no doubt about that.
It is very much a dying thing, unfortunately. There is only 27 of us left in London now. But we will keep going until we can't do it anymore.
For me, with my two girls, you know, if they ever came knocking in 5-10 years' time and said, Dad, I'd really like to sort of know a bit more about the business, get a bit more involved, of course I'd open the door. But I would want them to go out and try other things, do other things, see the world, do a bit more, and then you know what, if they come back round, they come back round. But if they don't, they don't. And yeah, that means probably if none of them decide to get involved, then maybe the legacy will stop.
In terms of the legacy thing, yeah, it's something that has been passed down, and I feel like I've been given the baton to do this job, and I want to sort of leave my mark, leave my stamp in a certain way, and then hopefully pass it on maybe to other members of family, and they carry on and they'll do their own twist on it. But yeah, it has been important, that in the back of my mind.